What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given here with your afternoon snap, and today I am showcasing a brand new Galactus build because Baxter Building is today's featured location. And as this game can kind of help us demonstrate, having priority when you play your Galactus is often very good because it means that your opponent then will not be able to interact with you, and Baxter Building allows you to grab priority while only committing to one location. And in this game here, my opponent is just going to retreat. This is my old list, or not my old list, this is my regular list, but instead we are going to take a look at this list. And I want to talk about just some card choices in here, some things that you could change around, and then we're going to take a look at a game using this list. A few of these cards probably look familiar to Galactus players, and a few might be new additions. Firstly, we have Lizard and Rocket Raccoon, which have absolutely no real synergy with Galactus. They are just here to win the Baxter Building. However, adding power to locations early on in the game that you are then going to destroy will help fuel your null. So this deck is really trying to create a big null to win the game, and Rocket Raccoon and Lizard help with that. Lizard was recently just nerfed a little bit, that now it has even less power if your opponent is able to full commit to that location, but we don't really care about that because we're going to be blowing up the Lizard before that happens regardless, and we get to make full use of its 5 power in the meantime. Rocket Raccoon is also a cool card. Sometimes if you ramp out with Electro, you're going to have 7 energy on the final turn, so this allows you to fully make use of that energy, playing Rocket Raccoon and Null on that final turn. But you can also play it with Death. You can do some plays like on the final turn of the game, you play Rocket Raccoon, Cloak, and Death for a bunch of power onto the board. We're also playing some 3-drops that you don't often see in the deck, and Sabretooth is a card that definitely has some synergy with Galactus lists, and same thing, being able to fuel up your Null and your Death, while also then getting to add 4 more power to the Galactus location. Notably, we are not playing Wolverine. Wolverine's a little bit tricky because while it is important to have priority from Baxter Building on the turn that you play Galactus, you don't really want priority on the final turn of the game if you're trying to Shang-Chi your opponent. And sometimes Wolverine can make that a little bit tricky. And then we round out the priority package with Killmonger and Cloak. I'll talk about both of those quickly. Killmonger, just 3 energy for 3 power, not like an incredible rate, same as Wave. However, Nebula, the newest season pass card, is a 1-cost card, and if your opponent plays that in the Baxter Building, you're going to want to be able to blow it up, so that way you can grab priority there. So that's kind of why Killmonger's in the deck. I do think that it is a fine inclusion though. I was previously also trying out Polaris, and if you want to get real crazy, you could play Maximus, though I don't love Maximus in a Galactus list because I don't love giving my opponent additional answers. The other thing that both Killmonger and Cloak do is answer the deck's most difficult location, Central Park. You can use Cloak to move your squirrels around, and you can use Killmonger to just blow them all up. So those are definitely welcome additions just from that perspective too. I'm playing all 3 ramp cards, Psylocke, Electro, and Wave, and then the top end of the deck is pretty light, just Shang-Chi, Null, and Death. I'm not running Chavez, I'm not running Spider-Man. I could see cutting some cards just to try to get some of those things back into the deck. You might also want Kang. The reason that I'm not playing America is because it's really good to draw Null on the final turn, and I want all 6 draws at potentially being able to find it. So I'm not playing America for that reason, but you could cut Rocket Raccoon, Sabretooth, Shang-Chi for any of those other cards that I mentioned if you want just a little more late game pressure. Here's a look at how the deck can play out. Very straightforward deck. We're going to play Electro into Murder World this turn. We could play Electro into Baxter Building, but seems like too good a value to pass up on the Electro in Murder World. And then we're going to commit to the Baxter building next turn. We'll be able to play Sabretooth there, and we'll be able to potentially play a 2-cost card that we draw off the top of our deck this turn, and that is going to be Lizard. So we'll be able to slam down 9 power into the Baxter building. My opponent will have to commit 7 there this turn, and instead they commit 4 power over back into Murder World. So we are now going to have priority going into the Galactus turn, and then we'll be able to throw Null, and we'll be able to play both of those into the Plunder Castle. So even though we won't be able to make use of Sabretooth, there's not really any way for my opponent to stop me here. So this is a pretty straightforward victory, and my opponent is going to retreat. Lily really wanted to say hi to end this video, but that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.